Hey everybody, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Well, as you can tell by the title of this video, I had pretty much given up on SOG as a knife brand. I really had, and that really kind of disappointed me. I've had several SOGs over the past few years, and it just seemed like I tried and tried and tried, and every time I just kind of got let down for one reason or another. The most recent ones I've had, well, I had the Kiku. Now that was a big old SOG, and wasn't a bad knife. Um, Really just way too big for what I typically want to use my knives for. The Kiku's a rather large knife. As a matter of fact, I just sold it on most recent knife sale to LTK. He ended up buying it. So he seems pretty happy with it, so that's awesome. But also recently, what did I have? I had the Flash 2, and the Twitch 2. And both of those were just, again, for one reason or another, they were just disappointing. And at that point, I had pretty much just said, I might have to be just done with SOG. Because every time I try, I just kind of get let down. And that's a real bummer because, I like knives. I don't really have a distaste for any particular brand, but after a while, it's just kind of like, oh, the letdown. But here not too long ago, my good buddy Peter, a Therapeutic Edge, sent me a Terminus XR. Not the one you see in front of you. We'll talk about that one here in just a little bit. But a carbon fiber version. I've actually sent it back to him here recently so he could do a review on it because he sent it to me as a gift, which was fantastic of him. I greatly appreciated that. But as I said, I've sent it back to him so he could do a review of, I believe he was doing a review of the XR models, and the Terminus obviously being one of them. But again, recently, I just got this one. This is the red, or crimson, as SOG calls it, G10 version. As you can see there, I got this one from Knife Rights. I donated to their Steel Spectacular, and if you donated so much, you actually got a free knife. They had several levels. This just happened to be one of the levels. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a red one too. So, yeah. Anyway. Membership in Knife Rights, all that good stuff. But I got the Terminus XR. And we'll just pretend that this was the first one I ever got my hands on for the time being. And wow. Yeah, this is completely different than any other SOG I've ever had in my hand. For one, the action. Obviously, that XR lock, it makes it much more fidget friendly. And the action on this knife is it's fun. It's fantastic. That was one of the things that I always had a problem. It just seemed like SOG knives their actions were sluggish. And it never had an auto. So I never had a SOG auto, so I can't speak to that. But just regular folders, it just seemed like no matter what I did, the actions were just always sluggish. And maybe that's on me. Could be. I'm not a knife genius, but I think I know kind of what I'm doing. And I just could never get them to loosen up and to be, to be not so sluggish, I guess is a good way to put it. And yeah. Also the feel. The Flash 2 that I had, that just felt like a really cheap knife. It did. It was assisted. The one I had was partially serrated, so I'm not a huge fan of serrations, but again, that one was assisted, so I mean it snapped out there pretty good. But it just felt like a cheap knife. Where the Terminus XR does not. It feels like a decently solid knife. Now this one's the D2 version. This is not the S35BM version. And it is. It just feels so good in hand. The other ones, the Flash 2 especially, was really kind of blocky. And I mean, as you can see here on the Terminus XR, we've got some milling going on the G10, some, it's contoured. It just, that blocky, edgy, cheap feeling just isn't there. And that's awesome. I love it. Now, I've not had, what is it, the Seal XR. I haven't had any of the other XR models in hand, but I've been hearing really, really good things about them as well. And it makes me happy, to be perfectly honest with you. It makes me happy to see SOG maybe finally coming, climbing back up the hill. Because I'd always heard of SOG knives, SOG, and this has nothing to do with their fixed blades. Has absolutely nothing to do with the fixed blade. This is all in regards to their folders. Now, the other thing about this, I mean, like I said, Red G10, D2 blade steel, you've got, let's see there, got a nice bit of a stonewash on it. And guys, if you ever get an opportunity to get one of these XR models in your hand, if you've been like me and just kind of like thrown your hands up when it comes to SOG, you've really got to try one of these XR models. I'll speak specifically for the Terminus XR because that's the only one I've had my hands on. But again, I've heard good things about the Seal and the other XR models out there. So there you go. The only thing about this one that is, and it's really aesthetic, it has nothing to do with grip or anything like that, is the pocket clip. The pocket clip, I'm like, okay, it's a big SOG. You got that sticking out of your pocket. If anybody knows anything about knives, obviously they know you're going to have a knife in your pocket. Deep carry, though, I dig that. No, no real screws to contend with. Again, awesome. But, that whole aesthetic with the big old SOG there. And it's a nitpick. It really is. But for some people, it's a big nitpick. Jimping, really, really nice. Thumb stud, yeah, you can thumb stud it. Thumb flick it. I mean, it's really more built for, I was going to say it's better with the flipper, but not really. I mean, the thumb studs work just fine. Excellent lockup. It's pretty dang solid. Oh, thank goodness for the Terminus XR. That's all I can say. Now, after I've gotten these Terminus XRs, recently I did a video, I wanted people to request knives for me to review. And somebody requested the SOG Salute. So, I didn't get the full-size Salute. I got the mini and a lockback. And we will see a full review of this one. But now this little guy is not too bad. But it still kind of leaves me with that, just wanting a little more type of feeling. And maybe that's because I've had this Terminus XR now, and I know what SOG can do, and I know what they're capable of. Could be. I don't know. I mean, there you go. There's your SOG pocket clip again. But, and I will have a full review of the mini Salute. My buddy Stuart was the one that requested the review. He requested a review of the Salute. But the one I got my hands on was the Mini. And it actually does fit me pretty well. So, but yeah, it does still kind of leave me wanting just a little more. But it's not too bad. Not too bad. All I'm saying is the Terminus XR. Oh, yeah. Thank goodness for the Terminus XR. It has made me see SOG in a little bit more positive light. And again, that does make me very, very happy. Because as I said, I had pretty much given up on SOG. I really had. Their folders, without a doubt. I just gotten to that point. But along comes the Terminus XR. And it's a pretty darn good knife. I am digging it. And it makes me happy. And really, that's all we can ask for. Just to be happy, right? I know, a little silly, but I really do dig the Terminus XR. Thanks a lot, guys, for listening to me talk about SOG for a little bit. You know I'm happy. But remember, guys, like, subscribe, leave me that comment. You know I love talking to y'all. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Bye-bye.